Zelazny might have a run here. He pulls up. 2 laps to go at Auto Club Speedway. What a run this has been. 5 cars out front just dancing around for the lead. Salas back to the bottom. Honeycutt stuck up top. Slide job out of Salas. Crossover out of Honeycutt.
23 should have a big run here. He does.
You see Salas starting to cover it up. He goes up the racetrack. Honeycutt's clear of them both. He shoves it up in front of the 23, gets himself loose. It'll be white flag this time by. Salas down low. Zelazny looking for a hole. Side by side, 3 wide, Coffee in it. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. Brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. Who is going to win the Luke's Playhouse 200? Honeycutt controlling the race. Coffee in second. Tires are aging. Zelazny off the top rope. Got a little bit free. He's going to crash with lights. And yes, wall there. Who knows? Honeycutt, though, leading the race. Can Coffee get a run? He's going to send it. He hits him. Big bump and run. Coffee's going to try and get away. Can Salas get there? Coffee's going to crash. Salas is going to crash. Watch Nick Lights here to the stripe. Salas is going to do it with no front bumper.
Unbelievable.
Wow. There's the white flag from Barney the Flagman. 1 lap to go at Long Beach. White flag is out, brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams.
Yeah, can really hold him off. He looked like he's started to gap Cantonio just ever so slightly. Got about half of a second. It's been hovering right around there. Oh, Cantonio really pushing. He's sideways out of turn number 1. But Rayleigh just keeping that car pointed in the right direction. Nice and smooth, able to keep it going. It's going to be tough. Antonio knows that there's not very many chances, even if he can get close enough to him to make a move. So we'll see as they come through 6 and 7, head toward turn 8 onto the backstretch.
Deeper in the field, nothing changing. Lap traffic ahead. It's Kevin Peak and Bradley Alvis right in front of our race leaders down East Seaside Way. And to turn number 9 for the final time. Lap traffic in the way, and Rayleigh goes for it on Peak. He sends it into turn 9. He knows he can't wait. He knows he can't give an opportunity to Kevin Cantonio. Cantonio's going to take it anyway. Ships it into the hairpin, and Rayleigh's going to get away. Thomas Rayleigh is going to be a race winner in the North American Racing League. A last lap bump and run wasn't enough. This man wins at Long Beach.
Wow, what a finish coming through that hairpin. I thought they were all going to wad it up. We had lap traffic in there, staying in there.
We're writing new chapters once again in the Full Send Racing League history books, taking on Iowa Speedway in the 11th race of 24 for points in season number 2. This is the Iowa Corn 185, brought to you this evening by Ivy Designs. Welcome to Pit Stop TV and the virtual Newton, Iowa. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV with Zach Murdos alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the Iowa Corn 185 by Ivy Designs. Today's coverage is brought to you by Grid Gold, by Ivy Designs. I keep typing it as Ivory, Doug, Ivy. I'm so sorry. I don't know why, but Ivy Designs, and by Whiplash Creative. It's one of those names that you don't come across all that often, and for some reason, until I type it about 50 times, it doesn't get through my thick skull. But let's take a look at the Iowa Speedway from high above, and this, of course, our track map here, Zach. And I mean, this place is honestly underrated. I used to really not like this racetrack. Since running it in the All-American Racing Network a couple of weeks ago, I genuinely enjoy it a whole lot more. I know it's been a fan favorite for the O'Reilly Auto Parts series and NASCAR Craftsman Truck series in years past. Kind of fell off their calendars for a while, but we're back to racing Iowa here in NASCAR, and it is so good to be back with Cup now, visiting this place once yearly.
Yeah, Cup Series coming out here, and now even so, being moved to the 4th of July weekend next year for the Cup Series, right there in America's heartland. So that is honestly really cool. I know there's a lot of people that want to go to Daytona, but it's nice to see this track getting some love during the 4th of July years. One very, very complex thing about this place is that it has progressive banking, is that the further up the track you go, the more banked it is, or is it the other way around? Hold on.
No, higher up is more banking.
Thank you.
It's
Kansas. Oh my gosh.
It's like a quarter pipe in a way, not nearly as aggressive of a curve though. And now it has that grip strip of pavement down in lanes 1 and 2 pretty much, where it's been repaved. And so the top of the racetrack is just about unusable. It used to be you could pretty much run entirely around the top of this speedway, and now you have to go towards the bottom or you will be in trouble. I mean, you really don't have an option anymore. You've got to go towards the bottom, especially in these NASCAR Cup cars. Let's take a look at the standings coming into tonight. Of course, these guys are rocketing towards their chase. We'll take a look at the schedule in a moment. Zach Lockett now in control after Indianapolis 2 weeks ago. He leads the standings by just 1 marker with 1 win. You see Nathan Brzezowski now up to 2 wins. He's into 4th in the standings as qualifying opens up. Some drivers in trouble around the chase. I mean, certainly the bottom end of that right column. I mean, Kip Easley, Dalton Tucker, Jamin Bernhardt, they've got to get themselves moving. But with, I believe, 4 races after tonight in the regular season, it's definitely time to get rolling. Genuinely, you've got to get stage points everywhere we go. You've got to focus on long runs. We'll see who has done that here this evening, especially, I mean, I was talking with you, Zach. You helped me actually get up to speed for ARN a couple of weeks ago for this racetrack, and drivers even today still complaining about tire wear. And this is just one racetrack along the way. We still got, actually 4 races, including tonight, left in the regular season.
Yeah, one can help you all they want, but one cannot stop you from jumping the start of the race. So,
well, there is that.
That is definitely on you. But as we roll, it was that one-off week, and now it's straight into the next half, a little bit more than half of the season. You've got Richmond coming up, so we talked about it in Indianapolis. 3 short tracks up on the docket: Iowa, Richmond, New Hampshire. To lead us in a bit of a short track swing, which I necessarily love. I love a good short track swing. Rolling off to Daytona afterwards to set the field for the chase for about 8-10 races, and they've got a pretty stacked chase, I'll say, going straight into Darlington, St. Louis.
It's pretty much the NASCAR schedule. It is the NASCAR schedule.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Yeah, from what I can tell,
is a good schedule.
Fair. From what I can tell, they basically chopped off the beginning end of the NASCAR schedule and are running the same racetracks the NASCAR is running in the same weeks. That way, there's some correlation between A and everything. I guess just delayed a little bit. Of course, NASCAR was in Iowa on Sunday, and now we're racing here on Wednesday. So technically, a few days delayed, but it gives all these guys a chance to tune up throughout the week in A Fix and A Open, even if they want. But I don't mind that. It's not my first choice, but I'm not the league owner. That's the beautiful part about it. We get to broadcast, and for that reason, I like it. And these guys get to tune up and race it the whole week prior, and for that reason, I think it does give us better competition, I will say. I'm just a nerd with schedules and stuff, but qualifying wrapping up here in this session. Zach, most everyone's made their laps around the speedway already, but here's a look at it. Tyler Bowling quickest. That whole top 10, though, very, very close, within about 2/10 at the top end of the field.
Yeah, qualifying itself, very, very close. It's a 9/10 of a second spread from the fastest qualifier to the slowest qualifier as we roll with Martinez here on track in the 48 car.
Maybe the coolest racetrack here, or race car here tonight, I gotta say.
Is that his own scheme, or is that...
That's his own deal, as Nate Lesko goes to the top of the board in car number 10. Also, a really cool-looking drink-inspired paint scheme. But yeah, that's an original for Nicholas Martinez. I don't know who did it for him, if it was him or somebody else. But Lesko now top of the board in qualifying. Nobody else really on the track except for this guy, Stephen Blevins in car 51. Here he goes off of turn number 4, lap 1 in the books.
I like that scheme.
Yeah, it's nice. I like the light gray and the blues in there.
It's not a lot of colors, but it's a flow. Oh, it's
Skyline
a nice
Mechanical
flow.
Service. Yeah, I like it. Nick Mills.
I said it before. I like linear designs.
Here's like a Nick Mills. He has changed over some different colors after what was an abysmal run at Indianapolis. This is definitely a more unique one. You know, I have actually seen that brand before in a beer bar.
Cougar bait?
Yeah, I have actually, and there's a bit of a meatball there. It looks like almost a meatball flag on the hood. I like that.
I don't go to bars, so I wouldn't know.
Well, that's fair, and I recommend that. It is much cheaper not to go than to go, as Nick Mills will complete his qualifying run, and it looks like he does not get a clean lap in. He's going to stay towards the bottom of the order. 32 cars here this evening, and Mills is starting towards the rear of them all. Well, that brings us into the race session. A quick look at weather conditions. You see it's a little bit overcast. It's nothing like we just had at VIR in the Legends, that's for sure. I think Zach, you might be a little traumatized from that. It was pretty wet in the Legend cars, but as these guys get into warm-up, of course, this isn't the race session just yet. They have this 5-minute warm-up. This is a chance for them to kind of just hit the racetrack again, shake out the jitters, and get ready, and for us as well to kind of go back over the weather conditions and everything else. These should stay pretty consistent into the race, but that's decently warm. It's not hot, at least for a cup race in the summer. That's not overly hot, but it's also not cool.
It's not hot, but it's not cool.
Yeah,
it's 104 degrees.
It's an in-between. Look, it's a daytime race in the summer. For NASCAR Cup racing in the summer, you got to expect track temps of at least 100 degrees, if not 110. So for that reason, like it's not super crazy, honestly. But the big buzzword tonight will be tire degradation, tire wear, some combination thereof. We've been seeing it since Iowa popped up for these guys on some league schedules. You can easily blow a set of tires here, or blow a right front, I should say, specifically, in about 30 to 40 laps. So the challenge becomes backing yourself down to make that right front last longer. I found I can get to about 60. Beyond that, it's hit or miss. You could probably go 70 to 80, but you're slowing yourself down at that point. So there will become a point in time where it just gets too slow to actually keep running more laps, and then it becomes beneficial to actually pit rather than continue running. And we saw a little bit of that last night at Echo Park with the legacy scan there and the ARCA cars for BRB. This is going to be that on steroids, I feel.
I always thought that Iowa was Richmond on steroids. Just a tap.
It is.
Like,
It's a
little bit bigger.
It's that extra 8th mile and all the banking. 100%. There you see the partners here, the Full Send Cup Series for 2026, season number 2. A big thank you to Grid Gold, Ivy Designs, Fish Speed Brakes, And you see the couple of the award down there, the Ivy Designs Pole Award, going to be going to Nate Lesko, and we'll be taking the green flag all night long in the Fish Speed Restart Zone. Good to have you all watching here this evening. Thanks for joining us. A big thank you to our partners as well here at the channel. Whiplash Simcams, MX-Raps.com, ATVO, Murdos Esports, CC's Business, the North American Racing League, Whiplash Creative, and TZO Designs. 2 minutes to go here in warm-up, and Zach, we're still getting to know these guys. Let's go ahead and take a look around the field just a little bit, shall we? Here is Terrence Murphy out of Cincinnati, Ohio. They just experienced a once-in-1,000-year rain event 17 inches northwest of Cincinnati last night. 17 inches of rain. I don't know how that even happens, but thankfully Terrence seems to be doing all right in his Grippo's number 5. That's a favorite.
Flooding?
I'm sure there was. I'm sure there was. There's Grant Applegate. Dalton Tucker back in the field. How about that? Good to see him out here tonight in the number 21. Charlie Hunter out there out of Indianapolis, Indiana. The number 72 has, I believe, swapped out paint schemes, right? That's who had the fantastic run last week, or last race in the Johnny Lightning car, right?
I believe so.
Steven Bernhardt there briefly. There's Stephen Blevins, 7th quick in warm-up. And go ahead and throw the times up really quick for you as well on the left side. There's Nate Lesko out of Queen Creek, Arizona. You'd think the Arizona native would get the name right. Jacob Hoskins out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Roy Grande, hey, you know what? After the run he had at Indianapolis, anything for him in the forward direction is going to be a benefit. Grand Junction, Ohio there for him. Tyler Bowling goes fastest. There is his number 99 Highball Energy Toyota Camry. Austin Thompson was just on the racetrack. Campbellsville, Kentucky for him. Nick Mills out of London, Kentucky. They were mentioned last night in some weather coverage. Brian Matthews, the number 71 out of Winter Garden, Florida. Buffalo Trace on the side of that 71 car. That's a good look. There's Jeffrey Petty. I'm curious, Zach, as we cycle through a couple more cars here before warm-up ends, what paint schemes are we feeling tonight? We're not doing a best in show vote, but what kind of paint schemes are we liking so far?
Honestly, you're going to have to give me some time on this one. Obviously, Zach Lockett has a solid-looking paint scheme.
Yeah.
I got to like that blue and black. There's a couple of schemes that we could probably look through the field. I know I saw a couple that I kind of enjoyed, but I have to take another look back as we roll through here into the race session and get ready to go through our starting grid for what is going to be an interesting race here at Iowa.
And before we roll this on screen, we did go ahead and add some more drivers to our folder of driver photos. If you have submitted one and do not see it on the broadcast, I want to stress this. And Chris Mack, I know you're listening. I know you'll get on these guys. We aren't necessarily looking for selfies, but if you do a selfie, make sure it's oriented level with the horizon, straight up, a nice picture that you would send. Imagine this is for your hard card for your job. We want it to look good. We want it to look clean. We don't want the angled selfie for Snapchat. We don't want filters on it. A straight up selfie in your phone's front-facing camera, nice and level. I mean, you can have a racing shirt, you can have a hat on, sunglasses. You can get personal with that if you'd like, but make it nice and presentable. Shoulders up, armpits up, kind of that area. Give us some cut room around you, not just the angled selfie off to the right side of your frame. Anyways, here is Nate Lesko on pole this evening in car number 10, the Hawaiian Punch. Toyota Camry going to lead us to the green alongside Tyler Bowling at the front of the field. Kevin West, Charlie Hunter, row number 2, followed by Grant Applegate and Colin Bollinger. That is Dalton Tucker back in 7th spot, Terry Vincent from 8th, and to complete your top 10, how about Zach Lockett out of Catawba, North Carolina, alongside Rayshawn Winkfield in the 35.
Rolling outside the top 10, Nathan Brzezowski and Nicholas Martinez in 11th and 12th, and right behind them in row number 7, Kip Easley and Jeffrey Petty in the 24. Out behind them, Bryce Hedcock and Brandon Banks in 15th and 16th. 17th and 18th, you'll find Austin Thompson and Doug Ivey in that number. Oh, jeez. Chance Page and Jesse Graham. I'm losing my head right now.
21st spot, TJ Ivy here in row number 11. Chris Mackey behind, I guess, to the right of him. Then further back, Brian Matthews, Jacob Hoskins. 25th, 26th, row 13, Jamin Bernhardt, Stephen Blevins. That's Jimmy Jason and Nick Mills. To complete your top 30, Michael Newbryan, Daniel Holdcroft. One more row on the field, and that is Roy Grande and Terrence Murphy. A quick look at your Whiplash SimCam's race details. Here we go, 210 laps tonight. We will break this race down into 45, 45, and 120 on the stages. So the stages will end at the completions of lap 45 and 90 this evening. And we'll have 120 to the end. The field can go for about 90-ish laps, call it 95 right in the middle. It's going to be interesting seeing how far these guys actually push them, especially the tires. I would say you pit for 4 at the end of each stage and probably cut that last stage down into 3 parts if you can. Green flag on the way. The Iowa Corn 185 by Ivy Designs is green at Iowa Speedway. Here we go. Zach Lockett on the inside of Charlie Hunter down to turn number 3. Single file in the top 5. Everybody else trying to figure things out. A lot of racing around the entire field right now.
Side by side for third is the first battle on the racetrack as they're side by side a few rows deep. I think we had one car sliding off at turn number 4. I saw a puff of smoke there out of camera shot.
That's Chance Page.
Yes, we do. One around.
Chance Page. He'll get back going all on his own there. There's your leader, Nate Lesko. Tyler Bowling, second place. We don't know what to expect out of these guys yet, but it is good to see already a couple of favorites at the front. These guys clearly have got this racetrack figured out better than anybody else. But look at Applegate. He's not far back. Lockett, too. They are your 2 points leaders. They were tied to Indy last week. Lockett broke the tie by 1 single point.
He's got some ground to make up to get to Applegate, to get to the rest of these guys at the front of the field. Lockett sitting in the 5th spot, a couple of battles behind. Going down into turn number 1 as they roll past the speed shot. This is the first side-by-side battle on the racetrack. That's Tucker on the inside, and that's Hunter to his outside. Nathan Brzezowski throwing it into the corner behind Tucker. They're making some contact, and the 77 goes on through, and he might pick up 2 spots here.
And Brzezowski's our most recent winner. That was back at Indy 2 weeks ago. He has won 2 of the most significant races you could possibly win on this calendar. Charlotte and Indianapolis. I mean, are there any better places to win other than maybe Daytona?
Well, he's going for another spot here on Dalton Tucker. He got 2 spots. He wants to make it a 3rd. Can't quite get it done off of turn number 4. They're going to fall in single file. This is on board with Brzezowski, looking at the back bumper of Dalton Tucker. Just looking around, just searching, finding what works, finding what is available. And the inside is well and available, sends it down to the bottom again, gets clear of the 21, but powers back to the outside. So Brzezowski still stuck on the bottom, but he's certainly making it work right now.
Dives back into turns 1 and 2, gets the spot. Now going to work on trailer park dude Kevin West. He's teammates to the car behind, Dalton Tucker. The 01 and 21 both on America Racing over here, and that's not the first time we've seen that kind of pairing. They have a couple of other drivers from what we've seen in the past, but they're starting to get busy at the front as well, as Tucker will take that spot for now from West. Up ahead for the race lead. We're starting to get at it. Lesko's got company.
Yeah, the top 3, you can throw a blanket over them right now. 4 tenths the gap from Lesko to Applegate. And Bowling is right there in between the 2 of them. The long run speed, I say long run speed, but you already talked about it. Anywhere between 30 to 45 laps is where it's applicable that a tire could be going down or get blown. And I mean, we're already a 1/3 of the way into that. Call it a 1/4 if you want to. But starting to see these guys manage their tires a little bit differently. It's about 10 laps into a run that you really start to see the tire fall off and who's doing the most saving overall.
I think if you really need to push up front, you can do so for about 5 to 7 laps, and then you've got to start backing it down. If you are at the back, believe me, letting guys go at the beginning of a run is going to be your best friend. That will allow you to start to pass them after about 10 to 12 laps. Their tires will drop off in a hurry. I'd say you've got 15 to 20 good ones if that, if you take care of your tires. Otherwise, kind of 10 to 12, and then you really started to fall off a cliff. Already these guys are running upper 23s, even the leaders. 23.7, 23.6.
There we go.
For our leaders up front. In the back, we're starting to see some 24s from guys like Jesse Graham and Stephen Blevins. Contact here off of turn 4. Bowling had a great run in the center of the corner, but he gets Lesko on exit. They stay side by side.
I thought that was going to be worse than it was, so great job by them to keep it straight and keep it moving forward in the right direction. That allows Applegate to close in ever so slightly. He pulls back about 2/10 on him. And now the 57 is going to look around the top side for the second spot. Not quite there yet, about half a car length back, close into the bumper. Going down into turn number 1, that top side, Andrew, is going to be very helpful as the run goes on. I think as the rubber gets laid down on the racetrack, that top line is going to start coming in more and more and more. And by the end of the run, maybe by the end of the stage, I think we're going to see that top line a lot more effective than it has been already as Applegate tags the wall.
I'll also say you really do not want to hit the wall at all tonight. You get a couple of taps, but it's never a guarantee how many you get before you start damaging the toe links and whatnot. You've got to stay off of the wall here at all costs. Keep your car alive, keep it rolling. But yeah, you mentioning the outside lane is working. Chris Mackey was talking in Discord General earlier about the top in 3 and 4, I think. Or was it 1 and 2? He likes the top on one end and the bottom on the other. I will say when I was running that race a couple of weeks ago with guys like Jordan White and them, they did mention that they had better luck, and even I then had better luck entering right at the top corner of that patch of new asphalt and kind of angling the car down to use more of it through the corner, as this is deep in the field. 3 wide here, TJ Ivey in the middle.
Yeah, driving the car straight off the corner is definitely one of the ways that you can maximize your exit speed while still keeping up your roll speed through center. So yeah, you see him here side by side, and now the fight for the lead once again. Bowling to the inside.
The problem for Bowling is the more he does this down low, he's going to burn that right front up.
I mean, if you can make it work, more power to you. But that Toyota Camry is ripping on the bottom line. He just can't get it done on corner exit. The top line continues to work itself in, Andrew. On corner exit, they are just able to drive away, use that defensive line.
17 in the books here of 210. We're a little past third way here in stage 1. At all costs, you have got to stay out for the entirety of this stage. I don't think we even want to try and play the game of pitting at the end of this stage. That is just going to bury you deeper and deeper on the timing charts. I really think you just go ahead, run this stage flag to flag as easily as you can. If we get a caution, obviously that changes things. Maybe you consider a set. But with only 5 change sets tonight, I think you've got to just stick with it as long as you can, knowing that stage 3, 120 laps, is going to take a while. And again, I think maybe you split that into 3 parts, 2 stops. So with the 2 stages on top of that, that's 4 sets. Maybe you've got 1 set to play with, but I think I'd want to save that for stage 3 tonight, knowing how bad the tire situation is.
Well, you know me, I'm always an avid fan of saving sets.
This is deep in the field. Jamin Bernhardt, Jimmy Jason, Michael Newbra. We saw a rough day at Indianapolis for the 6 car. Trying to rebound, but mired in 28th spot so far tonight. Back here with Bernhardt, Jason, Holdcroft, Grande even, and Chance Page, who was on the near side of going a lap down. Other battles throughout the field include this little fight. How about the Pit Stop TV number 9 for Chris Mackey? He's got a mirror full of Rayshawn Winkfield as they work off the second corner. And I gotta say that the support here has been second to very few, if any, in this series. Just getting going, all these drivers getting excited about the broadcast as we pick up mid-season with these guys. Very much appreciated. Even the league owner, Chris Mackey, getting in on the fun, running the Pit Stop TV colors here tonight, and hopefully many more times. Brzezowski put the Whiplash SimCams logo on the back of his car, and of course, we know Zach Lockett likes to run the SimCams colors, and we appreciate that genuinely. I mean, these are logos and brands that I have created and built, so to see guys opt to run them for fun genuinely means so much. As Chance Page goes a lap down, Nate Lesko continuing to lead, and we're starting to get ourselves some separation at the front.
Yeah, you might have been right, Andrew. That right front tire on Bowling, maybe not holding up as well as we thought it would. He is starting to drop back a little bit more. About 5/10 the gap from Lesko to Bowling, and then further back, it's 1.2 seconds from Bowling to Applegate. This is on board with Winkfield in that number 35 car. He's running right behind the 9 car of Mackey. And this is for the 12th and the 11th spot.
I gotta say, this feels like the most Cup Series style league we've had in a long time on this channel.
That run off of 4.
What's that?
I said, look at that run off of 4. The top line really benefited Rayshon right there. You see that? Let's watch it right here. Watch it off of 4. Going down into the corner. Plants the right sides just on the seam. Gets a really good run, and the 9 is going to leave the top line open for Winkfield. And he's making it work. It's what we're talking about, Andrew. The top line is coming in.
You know what it is, Zach? He is making sure to use the full extent of the new asphalt off of turn 4. Where a lot of these guys are exiting lower, believe me, you feel that seam. He is using the curvature of the racetrack to actually get the full distance there on the new pavement off of turn 4. That is really, really smart to do. That's going to help you over the course of the long run, especially exiting turn 4. You see they're cutting a little bit of the old stuff there off of turn 2, mostly. But off of 4, let's see this again. Watch the 35. He does it here. He does. He's using all of that asphalt. Meanwhile, you see the background. The 9 cuts a little more of that old pavement down on the inside of that newer stuff. And I noticed over the course of a run, it really upsets the car the more and more you do that. But it's really hard to avoid unless you are, in a good groove of running that line. As here we go, battle for 7th. Bollinger on the inside of Tucker. This is for, again, position 7. This is well in stage point territory, and the final spot in stage points currently held by the 72 of Hunter. So again, watch Tucker here, and actually a couple of cars ahead. Chance Page is up the racetrack. He's using the full extent of that pavement on exit. But when you hit that old stuff, it's almost like the newer pavement is smoother and it sits a little bit lower, Zach. And the old stuff actually juts up by, maybe it's a quarter of an inch, I don't know. But you feel it. When you hit that difference of asphalt, it upsets the car ever so slightly and makes it really, really tricky to handle, especially on older tires. And you see even there, 53 cutting it a little bit. That's Bollinger. It's not upsetting these guys too bad right now. They're also doing a great job of arcing in late in turn 1.
And Andrew, thinking about this a little bit more realistically, Iowa Speedway is getting a repave going into next year. It's going to be fully new asphalt. A lot of drivers don't want it because they enjoy the old racing surface, but a lot of Cup drivers over the weekend were saying it definitely needs it. There's cracks in the seams. There's breaks in the lanes, so it's starting to rip itself apart, kind of like Atlanta was before its repave. But it's still somewhat preserved here on the iRacing Sim, where you're mixing the new asphalt with the old asphalt. You're giving these guys a differing racing surface in the corners compared to the straightaways, and they have to adjust for that. They have to find the groove of going over the bumps down the front straightaway to transitioning to a smooth, clean rotation through the corner and utilizing and maximizing as much grip as they possibly can.
By the way, Roy Grande, another early exit. He is 8 laps down out of the race. Grant Applegate up the racetrack. He's going to narrowly get the wall there. Off of turn 4. I'm excited to see, Zach, to your point, to my point, just all of it, how this race actually changes from this first stint to later on. Because, we talk about all of this, all these challenges these guys are facing. By the time they complete 200 laps, they will be very familiar with this racetrack and all of its flaws and big seams and stuff, and they will find different ways around all of it. They will find their comfort zone by the end of 210, and they might even be running different lanes. Granted, it seems like a lot of these guys did do a lot of practice coming into this race, so props to them for doing so. A lot of them seemed like they were prepared. A handful of guys maybe couldn't do all that practice, but you know, all in all, you and the NASCAR drivers that talked about it are pretty right. This place is old, worn out. Mills gets the wall there. This place is old, worn out. I mean, you see Mills gets into the old stuff up top, and I mean, he just has no grip, no forward bite at all. And he goes way up into the gray stuff. There's marbles up there. I mean, because you have to run the bottom, as soon as you get above that new pavement, you're in marbles. And there you go, the 47 way up there, that's Hoskins.
And you know, Andrew, people talk about it all the time. Older racing surfaces provide great racing, and it takes, what, I think almost a decade for the asphalt to wear in properly that people see good racing again after a repave. But honestly, a repave can improve racing, and it can improve the racing quality.
Wow, look at that. First, TJ Ivey stuck Doug Ivey up in the dirty stuff, and then Terrence Murphy came in from underneath out of nowhere and kind of created a bad spot there for Hoskins. Doug Ivey gonna hit the wall there, maybe. Hoskins gets the wall. These guys are really getting at it in the back of the field. And then there's your leaders. Here's Nate Lesko leading the way off of turn 4 this time by. It'll be 7 to go in stage 1. And I promise, I did look at the right schedule this time, Chris Mackey, if you're listening, to make sure that we have the right stage numbers in there, 45 and 45. We are going to battle at the 10th position for that final spot in stage points. There is, while these guys are lapping the 34 of Chance Page, Jimmy Jason is one lap down. He actually has just hit the pit lane that Jason has in the 41, so maybe a matter of tires there for him. It's 4 tires down and away. He's in 31st. But for the final spot in stage points, Zach, here you go. There's the number 1 of Terry Vincent, Rayshawn Winkfield, the first one out.
He's got a few laps to try and get it. Low contact to the wall from Vincent up in front of him. Closes that gap by a little bit less than a tenth. Oh, a little there by Vincent as well. He's got 5 laps to go to close 4/10 of a second just to get one single stage point here.
And the trouble, Zach, is realistically he's not going to make it up. Unless Vincent makes a mistake. It's so tough late in the run like this to actually make up time, although we're seeing a battle here. Applegate is dealing with some really worn tires, it looks like, and he gets passed up by Kevin West here late in the run, so TikTok famous Kevin West up to the 5th spot.
How about Zach Lockett? He's moved himself up to the 3rd spot. Brzezowski's in 4th.
Yeah, those two marching through the top 5. We saw the pass a little while ago from Lockett on Applegate. Didn't really document it, but we saw it at the very least. And there's the 1, Terry Vincent, hanging on to 10th place. Again, I don't think this is going to change hands at this point in time. Really late in the run, you're really just hanging on, but we'll keep an eye on it as long as we can as Nate Lesko leads off of turn number 4 and into turn 1. 2 laps to go in stage number 1. And these guys are clearly the class of the field right now.
They've done a fantastic job of hanging onto their tires. 3.5 seconds back to Lockett from Lesko. 3 full seconds from Bowling to Lockett. 3:24 now. But it's white flag in the stage, Andrew. One more time around the racetrack before we see that green and white checkered flag. The top 10 ends with Vincent in that 1 car. And as they roll through 3 and 4, ripping that white line, the Hawaiian Punch is going to punch himself a stage win. And there's the caution flag.
So Nate Lesko, stage 1 winner at Iowa Speedway here this evening in the Iowa Corn 185, brought to you by Doug Ivey. Well, Ivey Designs, I guess brought to you by Doug Ivey. That's a good way to put it. There's Lesko working around the turns 3 and 4 banking. Stage win there for him. 10 points. I guess if you're going to win stages, the number 10 is a good number to have. You'll never forget how many points you get.
I guess that's true.
Good start to the night for all these guys up towards the front. I mean, back to the point situation, Lockett's going to grab a whole bunch more, right? He's going to get 8 points here. Already had a point on Applegate coming into tonight. His pits are going to open for these drivers just as they catch the pace car. Shouldn't see much changing in the pit lane then, as these guys will all change 4 tires, I would think. But yeah, Lockett's going to pick up 8 more to Applegate's 4, so make that now a 5-point lead, I'd say, for Zach Lockett so far.
Into the pit boxes they go to get some service. A couple of drivers staying on the racetrack, more than likely just taking some wave arounds. And 4 tires across the board for all of these drivers. Hopping out of the pit lane, Zach Lockett going to try to win the race off pit road, but hello, Bowling gets it. Looks like Lockett is second. Yes, and that is interesting. Lesko is going to lose 2 spots in the pit lane. I wonder how long did he stay in the box?
You know, it's these faster pit stops. I think there's a little more variation in them. Oddly, it's 11.91 seconds there for Lesko versus Bowling's 10.16. I also wonder maybe if Bowling short-filled the car a little bit on fuel. With the tire changes happening faster now with iRacing's adjustment of how fast they actually happen, I wonder if you're able to short-fill just a little bit. Let's see if we can go ahead, though, and dial up driver number 10, who wins stage 1. He's actually teammates, by the way, with Bowling, so this will be a fun conversation. Nate, able to grab that stage 1 win over your teammate. That obviously is a great start to the night, but pit stops, maybe not so much.
No, I was in neutral, so yeah, I lost a couple of positions there.
And of course, the buzzword going into tonight, tire wear. How did things look there in stage 1? Of course, you guys are kind of committed. Unless you get a caution, you've got to just run it all the way through.
Yeah, I wasn't as worried as probably as I will be in the last stage with tire wear. So pushed it a little more than I would like to. Definitely started to fall off towards the end there. Got a few warnings, right in front, down pretty low.
So 47 laps led. You lose the lead to your teammate who gets out ahead of you. You guys should at least be able to coordinate this restart, right? How important is that with having 2 stages? Actually, a lot of leagues that run these lengths only run 1 stage. You guys run 2, so it's kind of a lot more stop and go.
A lot of racing left, so I'm not going to do anything too crazy. Let's hope not do anything too crazy. Lose it here. So no, we'll see how it plays out, but a lot of laps left.
Fair enough. We'll let you get back to it with your teammates. Best of luck.
Thank you.
And I'll try to find the team he goes back down into here in a second with Bowling. If Discord lets me scroll, we'll get Lesko back down there, and I'll let him get back at it in the IWP Racing chat. Here we go, though, Zach. There you see Tyler Bowling started second, up to the lead now for this restart. Here we go. Tyler Bowling, Tyler Lockett, or Zach Lockett, Nate Lesko, Nathan Brzezowski, Kevin West, Colin Bollinger. Green flag, stage 2 underway. One lap complete this time by off the restart. Look at Bowling out front. Highballing to position number 1 as he fires down into turns 1 and 2. Lesko trying to hang on up top over Zach Lockett. They will complete the teammate restart. Applegate that chrome red 57 not far back, but the top 5 starting to get away.
Side by side, Brzezowski underneath Bollinger. Trying to point his way further forward. He was up inside the top 5, still is, but maybe 1 or 2 spots down from where he was at stage N. Trying to get it all back.
I'll tell you what, Zach,
Lock it to the inside of Lesko.
This camera is not always very useful, but when it is, golly, look at it. That is such a cool perspective. You see Lockett slot back in behind Lesko. Look at the sparks underneath the 53 into turn 1. Bollinger scraping the underbody. Obviously, in real life, you have to limit that, but in iRacing, you don't actually wear the underbody at all, so you can do it all you need to, aside from the fact that it upsets the car.
Almost 3 wide, off corner exit. Oh, in the wall. The 53 at Bollinger. Now they're all doubled up, 2 by 2. Second, third, fourth, and fifth. Lockett down to the inside, trying to hang on. He was going for that second spot, not anymore, just trying to hang on to third. Not going to be able to hang on to it for very long. Like I said, Andrew, it's going to remain a talking point the whole night. That top line is really building itself more and more. The 53 hanging tough on the top side, going for second now.
This would be the first big change up in the top two, aside from Lesko and Bowling leading. And sure enough, off of turn 4, Bollinger are going to take that spot away. So 3 Toyotas out front. But they're all on very different agendas, I think, of how they want to run this race. Bowling was a little more aggressive in the first run. Lesko very conservative, and Bollinger looks like he might be even more aggressive than Bowling ahead. And then deep in the field, look at this group. Mackey's back here with Hunter. They're side by side. That's for 12th. That is right behind a whole other gaggle of cars. They're all single file right now, but give these guys half a chance. They'll happily get side by side and start racing. Currently the final car in the stage points, that'd be Banks. A long ways to go, though, in stage 2.
After looking to the bottom there to try and make up some ground, but ends up losing it off of turn number 4. Just behind Banks in that 88. Further up the field, Applegate under fire from Winkfield for that 6th position. Hedgecock behind them, trying to see what he can make happen on that top line.
Lesko dropping behind Lockett. And yeah, Wingfield using that bottom really nicely. Applegate hits the wall off the corner. And the 57 will lose the 6th position for now. Battles ahead. Lockett and Lesko, there they are. Down the backstretch this time. Lockett trying to get that spot squarely in his possession. It's not happening just yet. Now he gets clear. Brzezowski now to the inside of the 10 of Lesko. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Our pole sitter Lesko dropping further and further back now into 5th position. As you'll see the 77 of Brzezowski hit the gas and take off down the front straightaway. I guess front stretch into turn number 1. He's got the position squarely and gets away. So then the battle becomes back here, deeper in the top 10. Wingfield, Applegate, how about Hedgecock in the 18? Banks is still hanging on to 10th. These guys mostly single file, but there are battles deep in this field. Here we go, finally found one. Terry Vincent stayed in the pit lane a while, it looks like, under that yellow. Actually, he didn't. He just lost a lot of positions here on the restart. He's down to 21st after finishing stage 1 in 10th.
Further up, a couple of side-by-side battles.
Up the racetrack, you see Kip Easley on the 27. Michael Newbrow is starting to get through this field. We mentioned him having well, he and Kip Easley both had really rough days at Indianapolis 2 weeks ago. So it's good to see them both, having a quiet race so far. Slowly trying to surge up through the field. This is a pretty deep field. 32 cars. That's 4 shy of the Cup race this past weekend, so these guys need one more 4-car team and they can say they've got full Cup fields.
I still think 32 cars is a respectable amount.
100%. 100%.
These guys are a really great show. We've only had one caution so far, and that was a stage caution. Let me knock on wood when I say that, just so I'm not jinxing myself, but hey, Andrew's the one who does the commentators cursing around here, not me. We're not even going to talk about what he did during Nora. And did the same thing during BRB last night at Atlanta. Just putting that out there for the record.
Yeah. Well, on board of Terrence Murphy currently. He's trying to get his way through this field. Started dead last. How about this, Zach? We got to keep an eye on him for driver of the day in a little while. Started DFL If you know, you know. And here he is. Breaking into the top half. He's 16th already, looking for 15th.
Ripping that top line, trying to make it work as it has for so many other drivers so far. And if I'm not mistaken, Andrew, did I hear downshifting going into the corner?
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. You've got to. Let's see
What
if we can
happened to
get...
just fourth gear all the way around?
I think if you want to carry momentum, you've got to upshift down the straights into fifth. Let's go ahead and let's go with Chris Mackey here and see what he's doing inside the car. He keeps it in fourth. You've got the option. You can do either. I personally like to shift more than down or more than not. I like to pull fifth on the front stretch. You don't need to in the back. No matter if you're pushing for qualifying or whatever, you don't have to shift on the back straight. Leave it in fourth gear. But on the front, I think you definitely want to pull fifth if you're trying to carry momentum. If you're okay kind of battling and being a little more on the chip and trying to use the rears to actually propel you off the corner, you can get away with staying in fourth gear, but especially longer in the run. But especially right at the start of the run, you want to use fifth, and then as the run goes on, maybe you're slowing down a little bit to where you can just go ahead and leave it in fourth. Do you recall last night the phrase I put out there, 6 to 1/2 dozen the other? It's very similar in that way. I mean, you can do either one on the front stretch.
I'm not going to lie to you, I was so tired after that race, I forgot just about everything you said.
Well, fair
All I
enough.
remember was the commentator's curse. I remember the funny moments.
Fair enough. These guys working down the far side of lap 70. Watching from the fan cam perspectives around this Iowa Speedway. And it sounds like they're only going to improve things farther. You know, go to the wide shot here from the blimp. I would love to see a world where we get a racetrack, even if they're low-rise stands, if we can put more stands around racetracks again. Give more vantage points, even if they're low and you have the press boxes maybe a little bit lower than on the front straightaway here. Let's get more stands. Or you can do like they did in turn one, the big Hy-Vee stands there. I mean, those look fantastic as well. I don't know if I have a great way to show them. But when we come down the front stretch here in a second on Tyler Bowling's on board, you can see that big red building on the outside of turn one. More stuff like that even. That all adds to the fan experience. Look, I'm the racetrack promoter, but that stuff is cool to me as a fan, as somebody who goes and works events. Not at the cup level, obviously. But, yeah, it'd be cool to see more accommodations like that. Although I gotta say, Iowa has got the RV parking thing figured out all the way down the backstretch through turn 3.
They're gonna be racing into the night a little bit.
Yes, there are very much lights here at Iowa. Most races in the past, I feel like, with O'Reilly and trucks have actually run at night. You see the lights
Everyone
around.
remembers 2011, Carl Edwards and Ricky Stenhouse.
Yes, the engine expiration from Stenhouse. Edwards nowhere to go, and the oil off the corner. It's like the tires had just enough traction to continue going straight, but as soon as he tried to turn, yeah, no, that wasn't going to happen. And piled right in the back of Stenhouse and pushed him across the line. I think that might be one of the only times in history where an engine has failed and the driver still won the race. I can think of one other that I've seen. Who's that?
Darrell Waltrip in Charlotte for the Winston.
I'm
The
not gonna
second
lie.
they crossed the line, the motor blew.
That's before my time. Was that after the line, though?
Yeah, it was before my time, but I still knew about it.
But was it after the line that it blew?
Yes.
Well, that disqualifies it, Zach. I'm talking about across the line. I will say, I was at Georgia Karting Complex a handful of years ago for Thanksgiving Thunder, and we had an Unlimited All-Star, which is basically run what you brung in kart terms, an Unlimited All-Star race where there was one kart that showed up. It was prelim day. You know, they were going to have more on day 2. One kart was in the race. As this is a great battle, I want to mention this. This is for the final spot in stage points. This is for 10th. There you see Hedgecock ends up relenting to that pit stop TV number 9. One of the best looking cars here, I gotta say. But that one Unlimited All-Star kart that took the green flag, yeah, off of turn 4, as soon as he hit the gas to take the green, his engine sent a piston into low Earth orbit, and needless to say, he was the only driver in the race that he DNF'd.
What?
Yeah. Technically, it's a DNS because the engine, I mean, I guess the transponder did go across the line for lap 1, but the engine, again, ejected a piston at Mach Jesus as soon as he hit the gas to take the green flag. He didn't even start the race technically under power. It was already coasting as he crossed the line to begin lap 1. That's my favorite karting story to tell.
That's one shy of the famous Formula One story where the driver did not qualify for the race, did not start the race, and did not finish the race. I forget who it was. It was a crazy situation where he failed to qualify based on speed, but somehow snuck his car onto the grid, did the formation lap, therefore qualifying him, or at least like registering him for the race, if that makes sense. He was quickly escorted off the track, so he technically did not start the race, and he did not finish the race either. So if you're telling me he never even took the green flag, that's a DNS and a DNF at the same time. You could say it's a DNQ because he didn't have to qualify, but at that point, he's the only car in the race. There's no need for qualifying.
We would have mentioned, as we're going on our tangents here, a great battle there. That was Kevin West passing up Grant Applegate. Applegate falling to 8th. So Mackey into 10th. You see Tucker ahead in 9th, and then Applegate and West ahead. These are the final positions in stage points for stage number 2. Look, I've preached it. I mentioned it last night in great detail. I have preached it in BRB for 2 years now. You need to get all the stage points you can. I'm going to echo that right here as Doug Ivey has just left the pit lane 2 laps down. He made a 4-tire stop at the end of this stage, and that's the 2 laps lost that I've been talking about. Point being, you need stage points, especially if you're getting ready for the chase here, trying to make it in as Bowling grabs the apron there briefly off of turn 2. That Chevrolet, though, right behind our race leader, not for position, although these guys are. Nate Lesko trying to fire back here as Applegate is in the wall. He's slow.
Still going slow, losing spots like crazy here. He's down to the 24th position. It sounds like he looped it a little bit after hitting one of the bumps badly. This is riding on board with Lesko, fighting side by side with Brzezowski down into turn number 1. That 77 car wants to take away the position that 10 car has been holding on to for so long now. That being the 4th spot, forcing them up the racetrack. They are so close, making just a little bit of contact here and there. The bottom line still trying to show that it is strong, but that top line is powering as they're making contact on entry. That's going to trip up to 77. They're not giving each other an inch. We're only 88 laps into this. We're not even to the halfway mark.
Yeah, a lot of racing left to go. Contact there. Brzezowski gets in the left side door of Lesko. He's going to get the spot, though. And that puts Nate Brzezowski right behind his teammate, Tyler Lockett here. I keep saying Tyler Lockett. That's a wide receiver. Zach Lockett into turn 1.
Into the corner.
And yeah, Lesko with a big send, trying to get that spot. Back away, contact! He gets in the left rear there of Brzezowski. That should split these guys up for now. Lesko, though, not taking no for an answer. He's going to keep on fighting. Won't go out without a fight. 2 laps to go now. No, 1 lap to go. That is the white flag for stage number 1. Bowling out ahead. There's no battle at the moment for the 10th, although Hedgecock has moved into that 10th spot with the advent of Applegate having issues earlier on. These guys in a line, and off of turn 4, it will be Tyler Bowling to the flag. Stage 2 belongs to the High Mall 99. Flag to flag. Stage 2, just like his teammate in stage 1. The whole field comes on by, and congratulations, driver number 99, Tyler Bowling, Stage 2 winner at Iowa Speedway. They keep it in IWP possession, that's for sure, and they are actually sponsoring next week's race at Richmond Raceway. So they are coming alive at just the right time for the rock and roll, IWT rock and roll Richmond 200 next week, I believe it is, maybe 240. We'll find out next week. Pit stops, though. Everybody gonna need those 4 tires again.
Let's see who gets off the pit lane first this time. Bowling has not relinquished the lead since he came off the pit lane. Everyone popping into their box.
Again, you've got to take 4
as we roll the
tires.
final stage.
4 tires and fuel. You cannot afford to do anything else here. You see a couple of these drivers cutting the entry there into their box around turn 1. That's smart. That's an advantage to having an early box here at Iowa. Off the pit lane, Bowling gets away. Lesko might get the best of Brzezowski for 3rd. He will.
He does.
How about that? In 5th place off of the pit lane will be that 35 of Winkfield. But Bowling, he manages to execute here under the pit stops. Unlike his teammate Lesko a stage ago, he hangs on to the lead out of the pit lane. Let's dial up Tyler Bowling from IWP Racing, teammates with Lesko and with Hedgecock. They each get stage points here, I believe, in each of the stages. And Tyler, a big stage win for you here tonight. Always good to put points under your belt. In this case, 9 in stage 1, right? 10 here in stage 2. That's a bunch to your total. That's going to help a lot.
Yeah, definitely need it. I know I'm close to the chase cutoff there, so any extra points helps for sure right now.
And it's got to be good as well to keep the stage wins in your guys' possession over IWP. Lesko getting stage 1. Kind of messed it up on the exit of the pits maybe, but that just gave you the opportunity here in stage 2.
Yeah, definitely. I know he was super good in that long run too, so him and traffic definitely helped me out a little bit there.
And of course, we're brand new to you guys, still kind of picking up on everything. You've got 1 win earlier in the season, though. You come in tonight kind of in a danger zone. The bottom 4 of the chase drivers currently, with 4 races to go, 3 after tonight. So does this ease your concerns at all for 2 really difficult tracks coming up, Richmond and New Hampshire? And then Daytona isn't any easier?
Yeah, not yet, but as long as I have a good finish tonight, like top 5, then yeah, I'll definitely feel a little more comfortable going in the next 2 weeks, for sure.
And let's talk about IWP. What are you guys? I see you guys on the calendar sponsoring Richmond next week. Tell us about IWP.
Yeah, so it's a buddy of mine. He started this podcast, which is called International Podcast. They talk NASCAR and all NASCAR. They do it every Tuesday nights. We'll have to figure out a way to get a link sent in. If my buddy who started it is watching, hopefully he can put it in the comments there for everyone to see. But yeah, it's just a podcast of guys that talk NASCAR, and we all started, got a lead together in NASCAR 25. And then some of us switched over to iRacing within the past, 9 months, 6 months.
If we talk to you later, I'll have some questions about that. Tyler, best of luck here in Stage 3.
Yep, thank you, sir.
We'll get him back down there to IWP Racing with Hedgecock and with Lesko. Stage 3 restart on the way with 95 complete this time by. That technically makes this 115 to the end, but they pitted a couple of laps ago. We'll wait and see how it all boils down. To the Fish Speed restart zone again. Green flag at Iowa. Down through 3 and 4. Look at them all. 2 abreast mostly. Off of turn number 4 this time. To the line, Zach. It's still Bowling. Lesko and Lockett, a great fight for second.
Yeah, that top line is not firing off that well on the restarts, Andrew. I've just been watching it this whole time, and Lockett, he was right up there with Bowling on the restart and then fell back. Lesko was able to get down to the inside and really take advantage of that bottom line, but the top 4 all just trying to break away now from the rest of the field.
I genuinely think something about the bottom lane not wearing out that bad, or the top lane then not having as big of an advantage, comes down to the weather. There you see the track temp through that caution. It got down to 96 degrees. And as we get later in the sim day, I mean, it's 416 in sim, almost 417. It's going to start to cool, actually. maybe another hour or so of warm temps. We might not have to deal with it too much in this race, but I don't think that top lane is getting the advantage it needs because I don't think the bottom is getting hot enough. That said, here we go. Lockett on the top side. He just drives to the outside of Bowling. He's got the best spot into turn 3.
Keeps coming. It just keeps making it work. These guys are starting to take advantage of it. Nothing can be done to stop him right now with blockers to caution.
So caution's out. Looks like Vincent might be the culprit here. He's got some damage to the right front of that car. See what happened here to bring out our first caution for cause all night long. These guys have been green aside from this little incident where it will actually be car 15 here. This is Jesse Graham. Haven't seen much of him this evening. He's at a 30th spot now in live timing. Dives to the inside of Holdcroft there in turns 1 and 2. Off of turn 2. Does he just get loose maybe, or is there contact? He does try to come up a little bit. Contact there, and oh, that's scary. Thankfully, never mind. Everybody does not get by. And that's likely both of their days. That's a big hit for Graham to take, and a big hit certainly to be dealt by car 71. That was Brian Matthews. Here's his onboard. Man, nowhere to go. And the engine didn't completely get knocked out of the 71 there. This is a lap prior, a full lap prior. I'll actually come back and get the 15 here again. He was racing with Page there, Holdcroft, Earnhardt. How about the 57 being stuck back here? Applegate. And clearly,
he had earlier on.
Yeah, and clearly, if there's a caution happening literally around him, he's in the danger zone. So second place in the standings coming into tonight. Botch stage 2, okay in stage 1. He's not going to be happy with this effort so far. Hopefully it turns around. Here's the hit again. Pow!
I mean, what can you do at that point? Just... Oh, man.
The Buffalo Trace 71 continues to circulate the racetrack here under caution. I'm surprised he's going to stick with it, but more power to him as Jesse Graham has put that car in the pit lane. He likely doesn't have a choice, given that contact, as the whole field will continue on without him, at least for the time being. You know, looking ahead here in this calendar, Zach, I know it's pretty much the NASCAR calendar for the remainder of the fall, but I am particularly excited for these next 3 weeks, and really that excitement doesn't change much getting into the chase. I mean, I'm a sucker for Darlington, admittedly. Gateway, not exactly my cup of tea, if I'm being honest, but after that, I mean, Bristol, Kansas, Las Vegas, Charlotte, we're in for a bunch of bangers.
We're in for a lot of bangers. I think St. Louis and Bristol are going to be two that I'm really looking forward to. Obviously, Charlotte is a home favorite. So many great races coming up for these guys on the schedule.
We'll be looking forward to all of them here. Darlington, I can tell you the chase will begin on September 9th. If you want kind of an anchor of where this is all going to sit, it'll be right after Labor Day weekend. So keep an eye out for all of these races coming up for the fall of 2026. For now, though, still live here, Iowa, just about to halfway. In fact, these guys will take the green flag 2 laps shy, so we enter the Fish Speed restart zone. Once again, 107 to go at Iowa Speedway. Green flag back in the air for Tyler, I keep doing it, Zach Lockett. Apparently, my Madden days are wearing off on me. I would always try and draft Tyler Lockett in full-on fantasy drafts. He was a great wide receiver for a while for the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know if he still plays or not, but Zach Lockett is very much not an NFL wide receiver, although I'm sure he would take the pay raise.
I don't know football, man.
Oh, look at that. Brzezowski throwing a block on Bowling into turn 3. Two teammates out of the front. Lockett, Brzezowski, their nearest teammate. How about Mackey into 5th?
Wingfield looking to the bottom. As Mackey tries to go through the middle, the door closes about as quickly as it opened. Now using that top side to get the run back up to 4th. Hanging tough out there on the top side.
And we have just gone past halfway, now starting to count laps down here at Iowa this evening. Mackey into the top 4. Those guys looking really, really good. So there you see Adrenaline Racing on the number 9, trying to get up to 3rd place. We have 3 Chevrolets leading for the first time all night long. There you see Adrenaline for Brzezowski and Adrenaline for Zach Lockett. These guys looking really, really good as these laps wind down. I don't know why they suddenly have come alive, but they have found something for sure.
That they have.
Let's go on the outside of Bollinger. This is 6th and 7th. Dalton Tucker right behind, Kevin West behind them. And Austin Thompson completes your top 10 at the moment. There's Thompson back there in the 23. He's got, how about Terrence Murphy again, Zach? Not to continue tooting his horn, but, I mean, this guy's up from dead last to 11th.
He's been on a drive. I mean, definitely in consideration for driver of the day. This has been a stellar performance so far as he's working on trying to get into the top 10.
And look, I believe he had a penalty to start back there. But Zach, let's be real. He's 15th in the standings, started dead last, and he has driven his way through nearly to the top 10. If he can just get around this 23 of Thompson, that would be 22 spots. Might not have gotten those stage points that he needed, but if he can, you know, pull this destiny in himself and put himself in the top 10 tonight on sheer pace alone, what a difference it would make for his entire season. You're talking about a guy on the cut line just about, 9 points above the cut line with guys like Michael Newbron, Nick Mills, and Jeffrey Petty, none of which are even near him right now. No offense, guys. But Murphy is, of those drivers at least, he's in a class of his own. Great drive so far.
Phenomenal drive. We talk about phenomenal drives. We look back towards the front of the field. We are single file racing, except for the fight for 10th. Lesko has dropped back down to the 8th position, Andrew, and this is odd. The guy that we saw win stage 1, the one who was absolutely on it with the tire saving, he's fallen back through the field just a little bit as they are now fighting for that 6th position. Tucker on the outside trying to snag it away.
This is one of those cases where you just take a wide shot and let it all happen. Trying to show as much of the battles as we can here, as there they go off of turn 4. Bollinger loses that spot to Tucker. Tucker up into 6th, and Dalton Tucker has won the last 2 NORA Retro Cup Series races here on Pit Stop TV. Those are in the 2003 NASCAR Cup cars, simulating the 2005 NASCAR Cup Series season. Tucker just moved away from the teammates he had and is now in kind of a start and park ride back from 2005, but he's winning races. He won at Michigan from starting at the back. He won Bristol this past week, starting 13th in that race. And not really a short track guy over there compared to some of those other drivers, but he's doing great lately. And that was a big shot to the back end of Winkfield there into turn 3. I don't think there's much damage to Winkfield's car, but there is a center punch now in the nose of that 21. You got to be careful. Martinez, he's here fighting for the top 10 now. He's battling with Murphy down the backstretch. The 5 and 48 look a little different over here in full send. Golly, I cannot get enough of that 48 car. That is a work of art.
Honestly, Andrew, at this point, just put a best in show vote out there.
And just make it the 48 versus the 48 versus the 48 versus the 48. I'm kidding. There's a bunch of good ones. We have a moment here in this longer run. Let's see if we can show a few of them that I've noticed so far. It's certainly the 93 Whiplash Sim cams on the hood. I've got to get them the new logo, but that's not their fault. Chris Mackey, a great one there. The Pit Stop TV number 9. That whole team now has got our
It's a nice
logos on
take
there
on it.
somewhere. It is, yeah. I typically go for more yellow and blue. He's gone for more blue and white. It looks like a Napa paint scheme. Honestly, that looks like that could be a car for Chase Elliott. It's just got our logos on it, and I love that, honestly.
We've seen different iterations of the Pit Stop TV car. We've seen the flagship car that you designed for a number of different drivers to use in a number of different cars. We've seen the one that Coulter Clark uses over in BRB Sundance Pro Series. Now we see one here. There's a few different iterations out there. The black and white one that Coulter Clark runs, that's a really, really good one.
I like this a lot, too. The Busch Light Lime 53 there for Bollinger. How about Lesko and the Hawaiian Punch number 10? Also, Martinez. I mean, this is just absolute beauty on that 48. Again, I don't know who painted it. If you're the person who did, I'm trying to look for like a painter's logo on there. Just know that is, by God, gorgeous. Bryce Hedgecock, a really good one as well. I mean, that's fun. I love that. That is really, I don't know where they got the assets there for Barney and Fred Flintstone. That's really cool, though. The Ivies usually have good ones. TJ in an all-black card tonight. There's Charlie Hunter. I like that a lot. Terry Vincent. I mean, just the Ross Chastain look-alike pretty much, but it still looks very, very nice. Brandon Banks has got a good one tonight. I mean, very much Trackhouse vibes, of course, there with the 88 for him. Doug Ivey, how about that? I've noticed the Jimmy Johnson throwback there. That's beautiful as well. Some good ones. That's for sure. Back to the battles as we near pit stops. I'd say in about 10 to 15 laps. Our leader's still very close. Dalton Tucker, suddenly a mirror full of Nate Lesko to the inside.
Lesko's trying to pick up the pace and get those spots back that he lost. Searching around the top side here, trying to get a really good exit and cross over that 21 car. Down to the bottom, throws it in. He's one of the few drivers that have really, really liked it down there on the white line, but I don't know, trying to get clear, and he does. Gets cleared up to 7th and working himself back forward, trying to go get 6th now.
Here's some lap time comparisons, bottom of your screen now. See Zach Lockett, last lap of 24.339, Bowling at 24.311, so very close, Bowling slightly faster. But then Lesko, last lap of 24.2, a 10th, and that is a big difference at this point in the run. This lap slows down a bit, and he's back in their neighborhood as Terrence Murphy's starting to fall off a little bit. He burned those tires up, getting up to that spot. Props to him still for doing so, but now he's starting to have to kind of sit in the bed he's made and try to fend off Austin Thompson and Nicholas Martinez Jr. You see this battle developing. There goes Thompson on by for the moment. But this gives you a good snapshot. I mean, we're talking 1st, 4th, 7th, and 11th right now. Those are the lap times that you're being shown. And you can see how the leader maybe used his tires up a bit. That's Lockett. Bowling and Lesko are kind of in the middle, and then Murphy is definitely starting to lose time as he burned those tires to get up to the top 10.
We have to start taking into account pit stops.
Yes.
These guys are not going to make it to the end of the stage. What is a 1-stop or a 2-stop? I think it's a 2-stop.
I was saying earlier, yeah, 2-stop. It's, you know, the number is about 40, I think, that you'd want to run, and I don't think you want to, so it's 120 laps. I don't think you want to run 60. That's going to be slow. I think you want to run about 40-ish, 40 to 45, and that means you're pitting, I guess, around 130, which we're 2 laps away from, maybe 135 to 140. I will say, if you go to 140, you're getting close to just going to 160 and making it a one-stop race, but I just don't know if that's going to be faster. We'll see what these guys opt to do. Certainly you can, if you take care of your tires, you can run 60 laps. I just don't know what's going to be faster. So I'd say that the pit window, realistically, Zach, is pretty much open.
Well, either these guys are going to short pit a little bit early in their fuel window, or they're going to run it long. And honestly, if you're asking me, you already know what I'm going to say, Andrew. I just say run it long. You've had a very long green flag run. You've only had 1 caution for cause. so far this entire night. The only other 2 cautions coming at the stages. Realistically, at this point, build the gap. You've got the ability to run it long and give yourself ample opportunity to make other guys start to think about how they can adapt their strategy to yours. And that puts guys like Lockett, Brzezowski, Bowling, Mackey, they're all in great positions to run long on their strategy. Heck, they could all try to short pit and maybe undercut one another, but with how the surface is and how the tires are, I think you got to hold on to the tire as long as you possibly can.
Excuse me. I think, yes, you want to run these tires as long as you can, but at the same time, you have to be...
Stop the count.
Hang on. At the same time, you want to run as long as you can, but also still be one of the first to pit lane. I'd say in the first 5. It's okay if one guy beats you down there. Obviously, if you're battling him directly, that's going to suck. He's going to beat you out and, you know, get you by a second or 2. But with how much fall off we have on these tires, again, look at these times. Best lap for Lockett at 23.0. He's running 24.5. That's a second and a half of fall off across the board. Nobody is having less. So the first lap out, I mean, it'll be maybe the equivalent of like a 23.3-ish because you're on cold tires. But immediately afterwards, you're hitting a 22. A high 22, low 23. You need to do that before other guys you're battling. As Matthews is in and out of the pit lane, he is, of course, damaged. That's not much of a domino to fall yet. But with this fall off, it's double-edged sword and it's complex, as you like to say. There's a complexity to it, right? Because you want to go as long as you can so you have better tires to the end. You also, though, have to be one of the first in when those dominoes do fall, because otherwise you will get passed up very quickly. And if you take more than a couple of laps to get that spot back, your tires have plateaued, everybody's in the same boat. It's just greasy on greasy, and you've got nowhere to go.
What happened to being, or not wanting to be the first guy to pit? That was always the age-old saying, you never want to be the first one into the pit lane.
You say
that starts the cycle.
I admittedly have not heard that much. In road racing, sure.
I could have sworn that I used to hear guys like Mike Joy talk about it all the time. That once you're the first one to the pit lane, you're the one at the most disadvantaged.
Well, here's the key to that.
Because you
used to hear
the cycle.
Used to hear it. Old NASCAR, new NASCAR, very different. Here we go, battle for the lead. Brzezowski to the inside of his teammate Lockett. And we're seeing pit stops. Murphy, Ivy, Applegate all into the pit lane here. This is on the earlier side, but not too early. This does indicate to me, though, that they're going to go for 2 stops. I don't think you go from here to the end. I think the fuel can do it, the tires can't.
Unless you're a tire-saving god.
Yeah, I mean, even if you are, I don't think that's happening, but here's on board with Applegate, or not Applegate, Austin Thompson, rather. Looking up at Hedgecock. As that seems to be Chance Page down low. He just pitted, he's staying down out of the way and pitting again. Another one came in that lap. Hoskins just pitted. And yeah, it looks like a lot of the field is just opting to go ahead and minimize the trips down the pit lane. The more I thought about it, because you had those extra laps, if this was a case where the stage happens and you don't have a caution, I think you'd want to go for a 2-stop. But since you have that caution to back you up 5 more laps, it takes that margin away and it makes it super, super tight to where I think it is beneficial, more beneficial, to just go ahead and do the 1-stop strategy, because you're starting the stage effectively 5 laps later. And fuel is not the concern tonight, it's just tires. Here goes Brzezowski. Oh, I think he just...
Oh, there's more contact!
I think Brzezowski shifted into 3rd that time in 3 and 4, but it helps him off the corner. Gets the lead away, as you saw Lockett and Bowling make some contact. Let's go. Oh, look at this behind him. Let's go all the way to the wall. Bollinger took him up there, and I think it was the lapped car underneath him on new tires that kind of forced that. Hoskins in the 47.
And Lesko's actually moved up. He's into the 5th spot now. We saw him a little bit further back the last time we checked in on him.
And Lockett losing a spot here. Those tires are dropping off in a hurry. As soon as you start to have that drop off, Zach, that is a sign your right front is going to fail soon. Not necessarily right away. You might still have 10 laps, but that is a sign that you need to plan your pit stop very, very quickly.
Lockett in clear racetrack now. Nobody to hold him up. But two cars are fighting right behind him, so if he's going to pit, he's got to pit now. As Let's Go clears the 53, maybe not. Powers back on the outside line. Bollinger taking it to him down in turn 3, but Let's Go has been hanging tough on that bottom line. And the 10 car is going to punch his way through, no pun intended, and keep hold of that 4th spot.
It's okay. You can say pun intended on that car. I think that fits. Mackey losing a spot here.
No pun intended.
I gotta say, Adrenaline Racing was great. They took over nearly the top 3 positions at one point in this run, but they have since fallen off. Lockett and Mackey really dropping as this run goes on. Brzezowski's still hanging on for now. This could be part of the pass for the win. Zach Brzezowski and Bowling nose to tail. More stops. Thompson is in from the top 10 nearly. And here comes Bowling. I think he's gonna have the spot within a lap or two. You're trying to get to 150 here. There's contact for Brzezowski into Bowling. You're trying to hit 150, but these tires are going away. And that's a big pass for the lead. Bowling back out ahead. More battles. Look at these guys all over the place. Terrence Murphy is in this. He's already pitted. Some 8 laps to go. He's trying to pass all these guys. Banks is there in that bright orange number 88. Kip Easley in the black and red 27. And Lockett losing more spots. He is down now to 5th as Bollinger gets his nose ahead. Lesko's up to 3rd. So those Toyotas, Bowling, Lesko, Bollinger, that kind of fell off initially in this run, they're starting to fire back as there goes Applegate on the inside. He will go ahead and get on by Bollinger. And Zach, here's the other part of, do you do 2 stops or 1 stop in this stage? I think you're running, what, 10, 20 laps here on better tires overall versus the drivers who stay out with at least a second or so benefit over them. I think you can mitigate some of the time loss. I still don't think it's going to mitigate at all to make it actually faster to stop more times. Here we go. Lockett is in. Zach Lockett. I promise, not Tyler. And this is,
Andrew,
this is dominoes to fall. This is right on the money.
You're confusing me a little bit too, because you say Zach, and I think you're cueing to me, but then I know you're starting to talk about Zach Lockett, and it's not the first Zach that we've had on a broadcast too, other than just myself. But I don't know why it's tripping me up tonight.
I thought this would make more drivers pit, but a lot of them are still staying out. Brzezowski down to 3rd as Lesko goes by. Just being in first there,
out, though.
Lockett is going to get a big benefit. Bowling, does he pit? No, he keeps going. Lesko too. Brzezowski's coming in. That makes sense. Teammate to Lockett. So he's in for service, and he is going to be followed, I'm sure, by at least somebody here, right? Right?
Hey, sure.
Maybe not.
Sure.
Let's look at those lap times again, though. Look at Lockett. There was that 51. His outlap back onto the racetrack, but wait for him to come back across the stripe. That's going to be a big lap from him. Wait for it.
They're in turn 2, so we're going to keep waiting.
Here's Lockett. Across the line. 23.2. The next lap, I guarantee you, is near a 23 flat, if not faster. Newbra in the pit lane. More drivers have got ahead of the pit lane, I would think. And they're waiting it out for sure, as here comes Whitfield. He's going to pit. Kevin West as well. And then here's the 93 to the stripe. How fast does he go here? Wow, 23.3. That was not what I thought he'd get. He may be realizing that he's got to go longer on this set, so he might not be pushing as hard. Pit stops. Lesko is in. He's in for service. Petty coming in. And thankfully
Let's go.
for us, we don't have to worry about whether or not these guys are going to take 2 or 4. They're taking 4. There's no 2 tire stopping here.
Maybe in the final pit stop, though.
No. This is their final stop. If they have a caution, that could change things, but this is their final stop, Zach. I mean, these guys are going to the end from here. That's the goal, at least. That's why they've run these extra laps, and here we go. Martinez, Vincent, they're both in. More stops. Here comes Charlie Hunter. Here comes Bollinger, and missing the pit lane. Banks into the pit attenuator. The barrels for Banks. That engine is cooked.
And he's done.
The choice privileges number 88, wishing he made a better choice on his way into the pit lane, I suppose. Here it is, trying to get down to the pits, trying. That's the thing, Zach. This pit entry at Iowa is one of the toughest on the entire NASCAR calendar. Just because the radius tightens up more than you would think. Maybe we can show on the track map in a moment. But frankly, if I'm in his position, first of all, you have to enter the bottom. If you're not on the apron here, you've already missed. And at this point, yeah, go straight. Don't do this. Absolutely not. Oh, man.
Yeah, the transition got him. You saw the step out.
There is Tyler Bowling off the pit lane. Let's see where he lines up. He is, wow, 4 seconds behind Nate Lesko. And Zach Lockett has another second and a half on Lesko. Austin Thompson's up the road from him. Of the drivers that have pitted, it's actually Brzezowski who is furthest ahead that is on this one-stop strategy. And that's not surprising given the tire fall off.
Still got more drivers that have to hit the pit lane right now.
A bunch more. Hedgecock, one of them. He is in.
Brzezowski would take over the race lead, if I'm not mistaken, from the cycle.
Actually, no. It will go to Applegate, but of the drivers that are good to the end, Brzezowski has the lead of them. As Applegate is going to get passed up here by Mackey, rather. Mackey not for position, but Applegate already made 1 stop on this run, so he will eventually take the race lead as there's Bowling going fastest. Tell you what, timing and scoring right now is a Christmas tree of red and green all over. And easily will be just about the final domino to fall. He and Blevins due to the pit lane anytime. Blevins actually going to keep digging. There's easily pitting. Blevins continues on just a little bit longer.
Started 26 on the night. Now sitting in the first spot. Being the last car to have to hit to the pit lane. Imagine if the caution were to come out right now. Let me knock on wood.
We saw it at Echo Park last night, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. That we did. And he's stuck up on the top side now, so there's no way of getting to the pit lane.
That's the tricky part now.
Has to keep on trucking.
He's gone so long that he is so much slower than everybody else on those tires. He's got to find the perfect gap to get down, or he's never going to be able to make it down there. Brzezowski passing up Doug Ivey. Ivey also has not pitted, so Blevins and Ivey, the final 2 dominoes in this cycle. And then we've got to wait and see if we get a caution to save these guys who are currently 2 stopping. I guess it's a gamble you can make. I just don't know if it's going to work out for them. Blevins still on the racetrack, 63 laps already on this run. This is lap 64 for him. At this point,
just keeps going.
This is just insult to injury. You're just burying yourself deeper and deeper. I mean, put the shovel down. Just pit.
What if he likes the shovel?
I mean, there's a whole movie about digging holes, but I don't think you want to act it out on the racetrack. Blevins continues to run laps, and he's not alone. Doug Ivey on the racetrack still in the number 3. He continues to keep rolling. And you see, it's like multi-class racing now. Guys on older tires, really old tires, and brand new tires. Applegate, though, in line to take over of the drivers who have made at least one stop in this run. He's got 2 seconds back to Brzezowski. Lesko is just behind the 77. Here's the gap. That's the 77 directly ahead. Lesko's got 3 lap better tires. Ivy's in.
Chasing down Nathan Brzezowski. Lesko's just been on the back pedal since these restarts, Andrew. I hate to keep talking about it because it feels like just beating him down, but realistically, he's just been working himself back forward. That 10 car was the dominant car all through stage 1. Bowling ended up being the dominant car through stage 2. Looking to the outside here, Brzezowski. But all he's been doing is just digging himself out of a hole.
Well,
He's picked up the shovel and he's trying to fill the hole in rather than digging deeper.
Let's not forget, this could be the eventual pass for the win. These guys have already made their final stop. It's Lesko around the outside of Brzezowski trying to get this spot away. This is super crucial for them, whether they know it or not. This could be for the win in about 70 more laps, 60 more laps, whatever it is. Neither of those, 40 more laps.
This race really has flown by.
Yeah, it really has. Compared to Indianapolis, it really has. Maybe we shouldn't be saying that. I have said that a lot at a lot of short track races in my day, and I've usually regretted saying it. Here we go, Applegate, and they are right behind Blevins, who still has not pitted. He's on lap 71 now of the run. In fact, there is Blevins, left side of your screen, and Lesko is going to pass him before Blevins even pits. Look, props to Blevins for running these tires this long, but you've still got to pit, man. And Lesko takes the race lead outright. And he's good to go to the end on these tires and fuel, as long as he can just manage that right front for the next 40 laps. Uh-oh, Applegate into the pit lane, problems for him. Doesn't hit anything from what I can tell, but that was a big slide, and I was fixing to say a couple laps ago, this is right on the edge of the pit window for the guys doing 2 stops that were maybe hoping and praying that they would get a caution, but in order to keep themselves as competitive as possible, they've got to go ahead and pit now, and they do. At least Applegate starts that process. Here comes, this is Bowling on the outside of Brzezowski. Relatively easy pass. These IWP guys tonight, these Toyotas out front, they've got it figured out better than anybody else. Blevins finally comes in. Oh my gosh. Stephen Blevins, if you're listening to this,
what he's gonna do to himself here.
Or a teammate, if you're listening to this of Blevins, or just somebody, I want to know what these tires are at the end of this run. Golly, I want to know what the right front looks like. It can't be good.
It's got to be shredded. It has to be. As Ivy and Thompson battle it out for the 6th spot right now. This is going down into turn 1.
This is
Top line
for
continues.
position between Ivy and Thompson. Austin Thompson, the 28 or 23 rather, just set sail. TJ Ivy trying to hang on. He is on the 2-stop strategy, Zach, and so these guys have 20 lap better tires, and yeah, here he goes, pit lane.
Ivy to the pit lane. Finally. You talked about it, Andrew. It might have been the pass for the lead. Lesko now a 0.7 of a second gap back to Bowling in the 2nd spot. This is the fight for the 6th position. Martinez has it. Thompson and Bollinger are fighting it out for the 7th spot. Now that turns into the 6th spot because they made the pass up on the guys that are in the pit lane.
Terrence Murphy now into the pits in the 5 car.
And he's on that 2-stop strategy as well for the final stage.
And that's about the final driver.
2 tires.
Is. You know what? That's if you're gonna do the 2-stop, that's not a bad deal. As Applegate does go fastest on this run. Lesko though out ahead.
Well, we brought it up. 4 tires was the way to go if you were 1-stopping it, and even if you were 2-stopping it, 4 tires was the move on the first stop. And then maybe 2 tires at the end just to minimize the amount of time you're spending on pit road and mitigate the spots lost. But you're still at least losing laps. I mean, you look further down the ticker, guys like Murphy, he's all the way down to 25th, and he's a lap down. And he's only got, what, 2 fresh tires on his right side to show for it?
Austin Thompson is in. Yeah, a lot of these guys, unfortunately, I think they took a gamble going for 2 stops, but it's not going to work out for them. The top driver currently on the 2-stop that has made their final stop. Well, may as well be Blevins, actually. He made the late stop after staying out all those laps, and he pitted right with some of these guys. In fact, he outlasted Applegate. Applegate made 2 stops in the time it took Blevins to make 1. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. So Blevins is kind of leading those guys who pit here in the final 40 or so. He is in 22nd, a lap down. And Applegate's just a little farther behind him. There's Murphy with him. As here's a fight.
They're just passing Mackey.
And Mackey runs 9th. And they're still a lap behind Mackey.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, so a lap and a half, really, because Mackey's 12 seconds behind the leader. Here's the battle. This is 5th and 6th. Bollinger getting ahead here of Martinez. We may have teammates duking it out for the win here soon, Zach. Caution! You're kidding! Chance Page, I think.
No freaking way.
Wow. He's the only car I see slow. And he's got a bunch of right front damage, yeah. Not the first issue tonight for the 34 car. Let's see what happened to him. And yeah, a lap ago he did not have that damage. Racing right behind Blevins, here comes Mackey, I believe. Actually, that's Applegate and then Murphy. So guys who just pitted and they just swallow him up. And yeah, he did not get the memo there. Right in front of Mackey, boom, outside wall. Oh my.
That's a heavy, heavy hit right there. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, it looks like the right front's still on the car. I was going to say, I'd be surprised if it wasn't on the car. Because the hood flapped up.
Look, I know I rating is not everything. It seems like he's a newer driver, potentially a little less I rating than a lot of these guys. He was on older tires, those guys on newer tires, and they put him in a really bad spot.
There's just nothing that he could have done.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's no way.
You could make a case.
He was expecting that, especially Murphy, all the way up in the old stuff. Ugh.
I was going to say you could make a case that he could have slid it back down to the bottom, but a driver's first indication is to save the race car. To hold on to it and woe it up and get it back straight. Sometimes it's not able to happen. Sometimes you just lose the race car.
Well, all of that strategy talk out the window. We're inside of 30 to go, and everybody just pitted again. Mostly 2 tires, it looks like. Let's go. Just 7 seconds in the box. I'm actually curious, Zach, if you can confirm that that was 2 tires for Nate. For Bowling, it was 7.1. I mean, 6.1 there for Bollinger. It is 4 tires for Brzezowski, and I do think 4 is the way to go here. You've got just enough laps. I think you can warrant it, and you've got enough sets you can warrant it for sure. I think 4 is the way to go, but 2 for track position isn't bad either. I do want to try and talk to somebody here before we get restarted. And I actually have picked out my target. Let's see if he's in Discord. He is. Drinking Bros Racing for number 6. Let's grab Mr. Newraw. And Michael, I don't even want to talk about Indianapolis for you. That was rough. I'm sure you don't want to talk about it either. But here we are, top 10, inside of 30 to go. Can you move up?
I'm hoping. I only took 2 right there, so we're going to find out real quick.
And I mean,
this is going to be a blitz to the end now at this point.
Yeah, you guys have all been, tire saving all night long, and now it's like, all right, well, the box is about 25 laps. How hard do you push?
Oh, I'm pushing it. There's no lift at this point.
Fair enough. I mean, especially looking at where you're at in the chase battle, you're 8 above the cut line. Sure, Nick is not having a good night, Nick Mills, but you know what points you can get. Is this kind of checkers or records for you?
Yeah, pretty much at this point.
Fair enough. Michael, good to talk to you. Best of luck. A great run from 29th on the grid. Let's see if you can get up there a little farther.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll get him back down to his teammates, Banks, Holdcroft, and Easley. What you got?
Real quick before we go green, first car on 4 tires, Zach Lockett. Everybody else in the top 5, they all took 2 tires. So this is going to be one heck of a restart to see how 2 stacks up against 4.
I will say Brzezowski has also got 4. Here we go. Restart zone brought to you by Fish Speed Brakes. Just inside of 25 to go. Green flag. Great restart down the backstretch now. Brzezowski, and that is Winkfield at his inside. Here they come off of turn number 4. Great restart all around. Very, very clean throughout the field. Lockett right behind this side-by-side fight. Zach wondered where he's got to go. Caution! Problems further back. West is involved, maybe. Yes, he is. Uh-oh.
We talked about all of this racing that they did under the green flag, and now, well,
We just heard Michael
yellows
Newbrough.
breed yellows.
Checkers or wreckers, right? This happens right around him. I don't know who's involved yet with him, but there you see Newbrough right behind the 0-1. This is a lap prior, I think. Oh, maybe not.
Mackey down the bottom.
Yeah, Mackey low. It wasn't even with Mackey, but Newbrough's in it. You're kidding me, Zach. Nobody's going to want to talk to me.
Checkers or wreckers.
Yeah. Nobody's going to want to talk to me.
What is it with
rate.
you and cursing people this week?
It's been rough. So watch Charlie Hunter in that 72. That plays into this. West in the 0-1. I think he kind of dives in and just gets to the left rear there of Hunter. Easily in it. Petty. Oh, man. Holdcroft. You hate to see it. Let's see it here again. This is Newbrough now that we're focused on in the 6 car. That we were just talking to moments before this. Kip Easley right behind him, nowhere to go. Those are teammates. Petty gets a big chunk. Oh, Newbrough's destroyed again. He's not going to want to talk to me ever again.
You're cursed, Andrew. There's no cursing anybody. You don't curse anyone. You are cursed at this point.
You know, Coulter Clark is watching tonight, and he's been messaging me over in Discord. And right as they took the green, he shot me a message saying, "Cautions breed cautions. Say it before Zach." Well, here we are.
You didn't.
20 to go this time under caution. Well, it happens.
Well, thankfully, the laps will continue to wind down, and we will get closer and closer to the end of this race, but, you know, you could say that's a good thing. These guys are finally going to see that checkered flag. They're going to get to the end of this long race, but now it's getting to the point where you may want to get to the end of it, but you want to get there with a clean race car. These guys had nothing to worry about all race long, and now suddenly here we are. And I sound like a broken record, which I've sounded like a few times tonight, saying this over and over again, but we didn't have that many cautions. I mean, you look back at the race details, Andrew, we had 2 cautions throughout pretty much all of the first couple stages. There you see it. 5 cautions. We've had 3 cautions for cause. We've had 2 stage cautions, 8 lead changes. We've been racing for an hour and a half. I mean, come on. This is insane to me. I never thought we'd be in this position right now.
With the way the beginning of this race went, yeah, it looked like it would be a very green flag run, but I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'll say it before, I'll say it again. A lot of these races we see go like this, even in, you know, whether it's BRB, NORA, whatever, when we have a long green run to get the race going, they typically get to this kind of look. Because somebody gets desperate at some point, somebody makes a silly mistake at some point, the attrition sets in, And it's just one little thing that it takes, especially in a field of 32 like this, to kick off a sequence of yellows. And we'll say, after we get settled on this green flag run, we're going to make our nominations for North American Racing League Driver of the Day. So Zach, be ready. We're inside of 20 laps to go at Iowa Speedway. The Iowa Corn 185, brought to you by Ivy Designs, back into the Fish Speed restart zone at Iowa Speedway. Green flag on the way for Nate Lesko and company. We're back racing at Iowa. Maybe a jump for the 53 car. Maybe. Big contact behind him. Hang on, guys. Lesko back out ahead. Here comes Bollinger on the inside. He's going to have the lead into turn 3. Was the restart good for him? For the stripe this time.
The 53 car gets it. Let's go down to the bottom. He's been wrapping the white line all day. There's contact.
Lesko, Brzezowski trying to get back ahead of this 53, but Bollinger not relenting. He's still out there. Lesko's got him for now into the stripe with the drag race. I don't know who had it. I think it was the 10, but not by much. Lesko, new fast lap, 22.6. He's got it now. Crossover.
Brzezowski sitting back there waiting to see if he can try to find a way to get up there to him. There's contact once again going down into 3 and coming up off of 4. The 77 is back into the mix. We saw him win at Indianapolis. Could we see him take a 2 in a row to the inside for the second spot on Bollinger? He's going to have a good rotation through center. Going to have the nose-off exit, but not going to clear.
Bowling right behind all of this. There's contact. Brzezowski just kind of bullied Bollinger up, who gets right back down to the bottom, tries to cross him up. It's not going to happen. Quickly approaching 10 laps to go. That was 14 right there. Zach, I might regret this. Who you got, driver of the day?
I'm going to have to take Lesko to start with. He has been on rails all race long. He's done a phenomenal job to keep himself in this race. You can't bet against him at this point. And I think another driver to take a look at as we roll through this field, looking at the positions gained over here on the ticker and just seeing where everybody's at. I think one driver that I still want to shout out is Murphy in the 5. He's gained a lot of positions. He's up 17 spots. We saw him running in the top 10. He's still got more spots to gain. I think he's a solid pick for driver of the day.
Fantastic picks. I'll take a page out of that book as well. Chris Mackey up from 22nd to 6th. Might have 5th here as he tries to get around his teammate Zach Lockett. I'm going to stick the 9 car on here, not because of the paint scheme, I promise. But Chris Mackey, a great drive from him tonight. Did not see it coming as he does get into the top 5. Lockett's got a bunch of nose damage from that restart. And I'm going to go Brzezowski, I think. From the race he had last time out, now with 11 to go, he's looking for the win. Maybe can he sweep these 2 Midwest races? I'll put Nathan Brzezowski on that list. And here we go, coming around to 10 laps remaining at Iowa Speedway.
This has been a phenomenal race, Andrew. These guys have put on one heck of a show, and the show is far from over. 9 laps to go at the start-finish line.
By the way, that poll is live over on YouTube.
What do you think? Does Brzezowski catch the 10? Or does Lesko hang on for this one?
I think if there had been a little more hold-up there for Lesko to get back around Bollinger, maybe Brzezowski had a shot to just get ahead, but once you're in clean air, it's really, really tough to upset that. You've got to do it in a hurry, and I don't think Brzezowski runs him down. Holds 4th there into turn 1,
There's
down into 3rd. I mean, he is pushing for all he's got.
8 to go. Closes a little bit. Up off of 2. Throws it into the corner here. This is the hard part as a driver, Andrew. When it's crunch time and you know you need to be on rails, you know you need to be giving 100% and push past your limits. But sometimes the limit that you've been running at the whole race is what's made you faster. You trip yourself up trying to find the speed that you know you already have.
Some great battles deep in the field real quick as we approach 5 laps to go. There is the 5. Terrence Murphy, slide job there to the inside of TJ Ivy, trying to get around the Terry Vincent machine. Here comes Dalton Tucker on his outside. Murphy maybe a little too aggressive there, and these guys are going to start to try and take advantage of that. Further up in the top 5, how about this? The 99 and the 9 battling for 4th. Mackey trying to get one more spot here before checkers, maybe even 2 if he can get to that 53 car. Could he grab a podium here? 5 laps to go at Iowa Speedway.
And Lesko pulling away, extending his lead as we get towards the end of this race. Mackey trying to put himself up into the 4th spot.
Hitchcock and Wingfield. Let's not forget Zach, a caution at any point in time would throw us into overtime.
This is true. This is very, very true. As we look at this battle, I'm looking at Zach Lockett. Does he have front-end damage?
Oh, yeah. I mentioned that a couple laps ago. Something happened on the restart. He ran into the back of somebody. A bunch of front-end damage. Martinez has got some, too, on the 48 car. So big issues for each of them as Mackey might have bowling here. Across the stripe, he had him. And there's your race leader. 3 laps to go. Next time by will be inside of 2 miles left. Nate Lesko stretching that lead over Nathan Brzezowski, now nearly to 2/3 of a second. 2 to go.
Popsicle sticks in the air. That's one thing that you can have on a cool summer days. Some popsicle sticks with some Hawaiian punch to cool yourself off, because it's been a hot one.
Make the popsicle out of that Hawaiian punch.
Yeah, you can. And we're going to take one popsicle stick and take it away to throw one more as the white flag is in the air one more time around. I don't know where I was going with that pun, but I can tell you that Lesko is setting sail and going somewhere with that race car, and that somewhere is just going to be victory lane.
Down the back straightaway, final time. Nate Lesko not looking behind him at all. This will be win number 1 on season number 2 for Nate Lesko. He Hawaiian punches himself to victory lane. Down through the start-finish line, actually, a spin for TJ Ivy. He will be credited with, it looks like, 11th spot. But it's Lesko all the way with the win tonight. What a job from him. Won stage 1, botched the pit. Left the car in neutral, didn't get going when he needed to, lost the lead to his teammate Tyler Bowling. Thought maybe he had kind of cooked himself there. Clearly not. That is a burnout now from Lesko. So well deserved. And if he's not at least in the top 2 spots for driver of the day, something's wrong. Not even a vote yet, guys. Where are we going there? Driver of the day, just 3 votes. Let's pump those numbers up as Nate Lesko burns it down, avoiding the corn so far. He's going to go ahead and burn across it. Why not?
But it's corn.
You must not be up to date on the lore with Carson Quapple.
No, I'm not.
Consider that then saving yourself from the trouble. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking about the meme that went around for a little while. You know, the little kid. They're asking him about the corn. He's like, it's corn.
Yes,
the big hunk of knob.
A big lump with knobs, buddy. Go back to 2022.
2022 is too far away, man.
I agree. A long time ago. I've slept a lot since then, but not nearly enough.
Closer to 2030 than we are to 2022.
Hush up. Let's go ahead and take a look at your unofficial race results here from Iowa Speedway. The Iowa Corn 185, brought to you by Ivy Designs. And boy, the number 10 has got things figured out clearly here at Iowa Speedway. Nate Lesko with the win. Nathan Brzezowski in the second spot. 85 laps led, by the way, by Lesko. I do believe that leads all drivers here tonight. Colin Bollinger there in third, Chris Mackey in fourth, Tyler Bowling completes your top 5. He won stage number 2. Applegate, what a recovery there. And look, I know Lockett got a lot of stage points, but Applegate gets the last laugh, at least on the results page. He will finish 1 spot ahead of Zach Lockett, but I do think Lockett will still have the points lead after this race, so keep an eye on that into Richmond next week. Hedgecock, Wingfield, and Martinez, the rest of your top 10.
Rolling outside the top 10, TJ Ivy, after spinning across the line, goes from inside the top 10 to outside the top 10 in the 11th spot. Terry Vincent behind him with Terrence Murphy in the 13th spot in that number 5 car. A great run for that 5 car Murphy. He started dead last on the field and worked himself up and got the positions he needed to work for himself in the points. Austin Thompson in that 14th spot with Charlie Hunter right behind him. Stephen Blevins, Dalton Tucker, and Doug Ivy in that would be a 15th through 18th on the finishing order. Jamin Bernhardt ends up 19th with Nick Mills in that 20th place position.
Back in 21st, Kip Easley. A much better night here, Iowa versus Indianapolis a couple of weeks ago. Jeffrey Petty hangs on for 22nd, and from here on back, it starts to get rougher and rougher for Holdcroft, Hoskins, and Newbra in 25th. Wes, oh man, what could have been? He should have had top 10. Like most times what we've seen him here on Pit Stop TV, should have been in the top 10. Ends up with that late damage in 26th. Final car on the lead lap. Brian Matthews, 15 laps down in 27th, followed by Chance Page out early in 28th. Brandon Banks, Jesse Graham also out of this race much earlier than they would have liked to have been. And Jimmy Jason, Roy Grande at the back end of the field, 31st and 32nd. How about it though for Nate Lesko? He's ready to talk to us just like he was after stage number 1. Nate, wow. Honestly, after losing all those spots, I guess it wasn't that many, but a couple of spots at least in stage 1, at the end of it anyways, I thought maybe bowling had gotten you because you guys looked so even there in that first run. And sure, he went and won stage 2, but you wasted no time. What was the difference maker for you guys in those green flag stops to even set up for that last little run to the end?
I think it's just hitting a few laps earlier than Tyler. That made a huge difference. Just the lap times fell off a cliff. So just those few seconds you saved by short pitting, I guess, I gave me the lead. And then luckily I was still ahead once that caution came out. So I think that's really what did it.
And this is big for you. I know Bowling's got a win already in this season, but he is much further down the points. Sure, he's going to get some help, but this is your first one of the season. And typically, once you get the first one out of the way, the rest come a little more easily. Is there a racetrack, maybe the same shape as this one, just an 1/8 of a mile shorter, that your team is potentially sponsoring next week that maybe works out for you to get another one?
I don't know if I feel as comfortable on New Hampshire. That's the track, right?
Richmond.
Richmond. Oh, okay. Okay. Richmond's a different story. I feel okay there. Yeah. You could. Yeah. Hopefully near the top. This field is so strong. It's so hard to win here. So I'm never gonna expect to win. I just hope to put myself up there and have a chance at the end.
I made a comment early in the night to Zach Murtis here that this feels like the most kind of Cup Series-ish league we've actually seen in a long time. Solid field, 32 cars here. You guys are all very talented, very even, I'd say, at least in the top 20. I mean, it seems like, sure, there's a few you guys who really have it, but otherwise you're all very close. Does it feel that way on the car? And how much more, I guess, anxiety-provoking is that, knowing that one slip-up and you could be 25th?
Yeah, that's what makes it hard. I mean, just losing those few spots on pit road, it's like you really can't afford to give up positions like that because I mean, you're gonna have to battle your way past every spot really. So I mean, it's good. It's good to keep you sharper, and to do it, you just gotta get everything correct.
There you go, Nate Lesko with a big win here, Iowa Speedway. The Iowa Corn 185 brought to you by Ivy Designs. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And Zach, like I said, the first one in the column makes the second, third, fourth, and fifth that much easier. We'll see what Nate can do the rest of this season. How about second place, though? Nathan Brzezowski, here he is.
He put on one heck of a show to get up there to the front, not just to get to second place, but to pass through the field as the race went on. Nathan, you were one of those cars that were just all over the place, and I mean that in a good way. Fighting your way on the bottom and on the top, how do you feel the car was working best for you over the course of the race?
I mean, the car felt the best in the middle lane. I feel like it was like that for everybody, but the right fronts were just wearing so much. You had to kind of run bottom to preserve it. I know when I passed Zach, through the first run, he was running that middle lane. I knew it was going to mess up his front tires, so I kind of had to do him a little bit dirty there to get past him. But other than that, I mean, the car felt fine. Just a lot of tire saving, which I'm not used to as being so aggressive.
And then we talk about the aggression level. You were driving as hard as you possibly could, shifting down to third gear to maximize the runs off corner exit, and to chase down Lesko for that race win. What do you feel like you could have done differently to maybe try and get up there and steal the lead away from the 10 car and eventually the race win?
I don't know what happened on that restart. I don't know if Bollinger tried to jump it or something and did it wrong, but he just stacked the entire top lane. I know it doesn't show any front damage, but I felt like, I had no front downforce after it. So I felt like if I could have had a little bit more front turn, it would have been easy. But I was just downshifting the third. I was trying everything. I mean, dude, that thing would not turn. So I had to throw the kitchen sink at it to try to make it at least rotate a little bit.
Well, you absolutely locked down a great finish. Last time we saw you were in victory lane, and one spot short is nothing to shy away from the following race. So congratulations on that race, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again going into the next race, and that's going to be here at Richmond next week. I'm sure you're going to be ripping just as good as you were tonight.
Yeah, I mean, last year the number 77 ARKC Chevrolet was pretty good at Richmond. We led 201 of 220 laps there and won in a pretty good fashion. So I hope I can do it again. Hopefully I can do it for you guys. Got Whiplash sim cams on the car, so hopefully put out a good showing. I mean, I know second is nothing to shy away from, but I mean, nobody's really happy with second. We all want first.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on the second place finish. Hopefully we'll be talking to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And that was Nathan Brzezowski, and drew that second place finisher, and standing by is our third place finisher ready to talk to you.
Yeah, Colin Bollinger on the 53 car, one of the coolest paint schemes, honestly, on the entire racetrack tonight. And Colin, or guys, your name, it's two of the similar sounds right next to each other. Anyways, Colin Bollinger, there we go. This was a wild race. It felt like you were always in the conversation, kind of always in that top 10. And I don't know about you, it seemed like we couldn't really get a read on where you were going to line up versus some of these guys in some of these runs until it just happened.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to lie. I didn't feel really good at all tonight. I mean, I think in the first stage, I don't even remember where I qualified. I don't know. I just didn't really feel good on short runs or the long runs. I wasn't the best in the long run or the short run. But we just made it work. We grinded it out, and we made some clutch pit stop decisions there. Dropped two on it. I think I dropped two on it twice in a row instead of taking any left. So it gave us a little bit of track position, and we almost pulled out a win. I know Lesko and Brzezowski had better tires, and we kind of got used up a little, but that's just how the short track racing is, especially with these cars. And but I'm just happy we were able to bring it home P3 and talk to you guys for the first time this season.
Absolutely, and I mean, there's stage points to go with it, and you coming into tonight in 6th in the standings, that's already the top driver without a win, and unfortunately the winless stat stays the same. I guess fortunately you're still the top driver of the winless drivers, so very much still in chase contention and likely going to be good for the chase with 3 races to go. But what's it going to take, Richmond, New Hampshire, Daytona, to get that win before the chase?
Just be better than what I've been. It's honestly, we shouldn't even be this far down in the order. The whole season's been completely opposite of last season. Just been really bad, and not so much just the luck, but even just me as a driver have been really bad. So we got the race to turn around, and hopefully we can kind of bottle that up and take it into the chase with us and pull something out.
And Colin, are we going to see more flavors of Busch Light on the racetrack? I'm a Busch Apple guy myself.
Oh, listen, we all have all kinds of stuff. I think I got a couple of schemes like that, and but I run. There'll be something different every week. We got something for you guys to look at, and they're always good looking. So that's the best part. Shout out to Daniel Payne Smith. He makes all my paint schemes. So shout out to him.
Fantastic stuff. Colin, good to talk to you for the first time. Congrats on the top 3 and a whole bunch of points going your way.
Yep, thank you, guys.
Paul Bollinger with a good night here at Iowa Speedway. And Zach, of course, it's all thanks to our partners of the series there on the left side of your screen, Grid Gold, Ivy Designs, Fish Speed Brakes. It was the Ivy Designs Pole Award for Lesko, and that was way before we knew he'd be winning the race here this evening at Iowa. And let's also mention, I mean, in that same vein, a win from Pole, that doesn't happen every day anymore. So very cool to see for Nate this evening. And on the side of driver of the day, that vote has very much changed. I'm going to actually share this link in the League Discord one more time and tell everybody to vote because we are in a tie. We'll see if we can break that tie here before too long as we wrap up the broadcast. A big thank you to our partners here at the channel as well. Whiplash Simcams, MX-Raps.com, ATVO, Murder Esports, CC's Business, the North American Racing League, Whiplash Creative, and TZO Designs. Zach, final thoughts here from Iowa?
Honestly, not much. Not much to say. It was a great race. They put on an amazing show, and I feel like we're just going to see more of it at Richmond, maybe even on a bigger scale with how much more condensed that racetrack is.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Richmond next week. We had a great race there this past Sunday with the All-American Racing Network, and I guess it's kind of nice actually having those, these two leagues now, both running cup cars, very similar, but not the exact same as the NASCAR calendar in the case of All-American. And these guys, the timing is slightly different, so sometimes this league is going to hit a racetrack first, sometimes they'll hit a racetrack first in All-American, but we get a lot of the same racetracks, and then having NORA as well. I mean, the NASCAR schedule, yeah, it's changed a lot since 2005, but there are still some key racetracks like New Hampshire in very similar spots. We're going to New Hampshire in the next 3 weeks, 3 times, between All-American, NORA, and Full Send. So we're going to get a lot of Loudon here very quickly, and that's not the only track. We're getting a lot of these same tracks all at the same time. It's going to be a lot of fun to kind of see how they all compare and contrast in these next handful of weeks. We are getting more votes on the driver of the day vote. I'll go ahead and hit the button and end it as we want to go ahead and award that. And I mean, this is not a surprise. This is exactly where I feel like it should go for tonight. This guy absolutely was the best one here. Nate Lesko, that just feels like that's what it should have been, right?
Absolutely. Driver of the day and the driver that won the race. He did the greatest job to preserve his chances of winning the race. Didn't really leave the top 10. So number 10 scoring the stage points early on to get 10 points and locking the win up.
A bunch of points for a lot of these guys here this evening. Next up for us at Pit Stop TV, here's what it looks like. Actually, hang on. That's what it looks like. There you see Nora on the right side. Long Beach tomorrow night for the North American Racing League. Street course racing and Porsche Cup cars. Pros on the racetrack. We're talking I ratings of 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, maybe even some 11Ks in there. These guys are absolute aliens. You do want to watch them and try to pick some notes off of what they do on road courses. Those cars, honestly, Zach, they have a lot more grip than previous versions. It's really, really strange, actually. It takes a while to get your brain to actually get used to it, but once you start to comprehend what that car is capable of, oh man, it rips big time. It'll be a lot of fun at Long Beach tomorrow night. There's our first of 3 New Hampshire races in the next 3 weeks. August 16th, Sunday morning, All-American Racing Network, as we'll be taking NASCAR Cup cars there. Guys, here in Full Send, this is one to watch. They are lower I rating mostly, but guys like Coulter Clark, Jordan White, Chris Romano, Chris Winstone, Robert Hissong, they are probably, they could be top 20 to top 10 here in Full Send, I think, depending on exactly who you're talking about. Clark, I think, definitely could fit right in. And I think that'll be a race that's very important for you guys to watch and just get an idea of kind of what the Cup car is like if you haven't yet tested at New Hampshire. And then Monday, it is the summer California race for the NORA Retro Cup Series. And it's funny, Zach, all this New Hampshire right in this part of the season for us, the calendar. We also have Auto Club or California back-to-back Monday, Tuesday next week. BRB heads to California as well for their season finale next Tuesday. And then later on in September, our WRL National Series kicks off. If you're interested in getting in on that, already Dalton Tucker and Kevin West from over here have done so. Get involved. Message me. Join the Discord, top right of this little social media graphic at the bottom. Just get involved. It's very easy to do so. It is $50 for the season, but we'll get you in. We'll get you racing very, very soon. And off to the races here for 2026. And Zach, plenty of places to keep up.
Absolutely. Pitstoptv.com, Facebook.com/pitstoptv, Instagram.com/pit_stop_TV. There's the Discord link as well over there on the top right, so you can join the Pit Stop TV Discord and keep up to date with everything going on with leagues and broadcasts and so much more. TikTok.com/pitstoptv1, Twitch.tv/pit_stop_TV, and YouTube.com/pitstoptv1. Plenty of places to catch all the action, and so much action still up on the docket. Hope to see you all there as we roll into the next few races.
A lot of great racing coming up on Pit Stop TV all across the board. So much going on for us. We had Legends at VIR earlier. They're kind of off for a week a day until Oxford next week with Sarah, the Oxford 250. Going to be a lot of fun to watch as well. Thanks for joining us here at Pit Stop TV. Let me get the right graphic out of the way. There we go. And yeah, Zach, I'm glad to be here. This series, honestly, we didn't know what to expect coming in, but they have very much exceeded, I think, any expectations we could have set for them. So definitely tip of the cap to all of you. I mean, these caution numbers, again, looks like the Cup Series in a good way. So once again, props to the Full Send Racing League and the Full Send Cup Series. A great one here at Iowa. That is it for us. Thanks for joining us here at Iowa Speedway. We will see you all next time out for the series. That means Richmond next week for the IWP Rock and Roll 240. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow night, Long Beach, Porsche Cup Cars, North American Racing League. We'll see you there.